Douglas Murray, thank you very much. A few provocative thoughts, no doubt, that you mentioned there. A few jumped at me, such as when you said the developing world cannot move to the developed world. You seem to conveniently forget that the developed world moved to the developing world without asking permission.
You'd make a big mistake if you think I hadn't heard of colonialism.
You don't seem to address it in any way.
And I'd also suggest, by the way, that I don't know how long we're going to go on about colonialism for. I'm happy to do it as long as you like. But let me just...
have to be factful, though. Don't we have to be
but also don't
careful
think
about
don't think
You are talking about the Western view that they should stay where they belong.
I'm saying that it seems to me to be much wiser that if you have a very large humanitarian crisis in, for instance, Syria, you try to make sure that people remain in the area. This isn't say all of them.
So what normally happens is Europe is far away from places where they go and cause disaster and destabilize the entire place. And now they come up with a very good plan like Douglas Murray is portraying here. We want that if there is any conflict in your countries, go to your nearest neighbor. Don't bother coming to Europe. So that we will live far away from those places and we will not be affected at all. Can you imagine? A conflict which you went and incited. You go to Africa, you incite conflict there. They are fighting and killing themselves. But you don't want to welcome a refugee from there. How selfish. You come to the Middle East, a place that is very far from you. You do the same. And then you're proposing that when there is a conflict there, nobody should cross to Europe because you value your peace so much. Subhanallah. This is wickedness.
But it is more likely, I absolutely agree they do. I've seen
look,
it firsthand.
Look at Turkey, 3.5 million refugees. Look at Lebanon and Jordan per capita.
What
the
I'm
countries that have
suggesting
the most.
to you
In fact, in Lebanon, you've got 1 in every 4 person living in that country is a Syrian refugee.
Absolutely.
So to suggest they're not doing very much is just being misleading, being dishonest.
Believe me, I'm not being misleading.
What about the moral responsibility, though, of Western countries that have contributed to the destabilization of the region, the meddling, the military interventions, not to mention the arms sales that continue as we speak? What about that?
Do you want me to answer that? Okay, I'll answer that one frankly. Nobody denies, for instance, the disaster of Iraq. But who are the people who intervened most in Syria?
Isn't just Iraq.
Hang on. Let me answer it. Who intervened most in Syria? It wasn't America. It wasn't Britain. It's Iran, Russia. It's, among others, countries, including the one we're in and others around the Gulf here.
Before we got to Syria, we had Iraq, we had Libya, we had many
countries in this neck of the woods were much more involved in the Syrian civil war than my country was.
Well, you're also
so do you want to take some responsibility for that? Do you want to take more refugees here in Qatar? Do you want to take more in the Gulf?
But I'm very glad to disappoint you, man. Like, seriously. It's just that you guys don't learn from history. Your eyes are blind as the eyes of your hearts. Allah already set an example with Moses and Pharaoh. When Moses was born, a soothsayer told Pharaoh that a boy is born that is going to take you down, dethrone you, and end your reign. Pharaoh ordered for the killing of all the male children that were born at that time, except for that one child, whom Allah sent to his palace for him to raise that very boy that was going to end his reign in his own palace. Allah ordered the mother of Moses to put him in a basket and then float him in the river. The wife of Pharaoh took Moses to the palace, and then she pleaded with Pharaoh not to kill Moses so that they can keep Moses like a child. And that is how Moses grew up in Pharaoh's palace. I hope you are now understanding the history you failed to understand before. When you went out of your comfort Europe to other countries, very far away from you, colonizing, after colonialism, you came with neo-colonialism and you were causing conflicts here and there, causing conflicts in Africa, in the Middle East. The people flee from their countries and they came to your own country. And that Islam, those foreign cultures that you were so afraid of, that you never wanted to exist, they were planted in your own country by your own hands, and now they are growing. And you have a big problem with that. Some other people will say that is how karma works. But we Muslims will say That is the plan of Allah. وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. They plan against you and Allah plans against them, and Allah is the best of planners. If you had not gone to those countries and destabilized them, those people you now call refugees in your own country will be back in their own country practicing their own culture and their own religion freely without any complaint. But Allah wanted His religion to spread all over the world. That is why He allowed you to have the power to go around and shake everybody everywhere so that they can come back to your place. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma a'izz al-Islam wal-Muslimin. May Allah strengthen the Muslims and Islam wherever they are. Please do not go away without subscribing. Turn on the notification button and share this video. May Allah bless you as you do so. Wassalamu alaikum.